G'day everyone, Aaron here at Zero Alpha Motorsport. If you've watched part 1 and part 2, you will have seen we've done most of the work on the sprint car and did most of the work on the 25 Formula 500 last night. So I got all the fuel system all cleaned out and everything done last night. It was a bit too late to fire it up. I came out this morning, fired it up, and it runs sweet. I'm 100% confident we've fixed the issue. I shouldn't have said that, but I am confident. So this thing should go well. A few other little jobs, tidying up things. I want to check the battery mount and all the wiring and just make sure everything's as it should be. So moving on to the sprint car, got most of the work done on that. We've just got to do an oil change. So Paul's going to head round soon. We'll jack that up, put on some stands, drop the oil out and chuck some fresh oil in. Then we just got to put the panels on the sprint car. That'll be ready to load up. I've got to fill all the fuel churns and everything, load the trailer up first, then get the sprint car on the trailer. Finish this off, do an oil change on there. So yeah, the 6 car might have some issues tomorrow, but we're gonna try and work through it during the night if we can. But yeah, heaps to do and not much time, so I better stop talking and get into it. Cheers. So just about to drop the oil out of the sprint car. I'd never worked on anything like this before until we got this, so the dry sump and everything was all new to me. I didn't even know how to do an oil change on this when we got it. So anything I do or say is not advice, it's just how I do things. I've owned a sprint car for like 5 minutes, so don't trust me with anything. Anyway, dump the oil out, get some fresh stuff in, chuck the panels on this and it's good to go. Let's get into it. So while we've got the oil draining out of the sump there, we're going to move on, rip the oil filter out, and just check all the sump plugs and stuff, make sure all the O-rings are good. Alright, so next up we've got the oil filter just here, we're going to rip that out. These are always real tight. Sorry, it's probably a bit hard to see, but here's the oil filter right here I'm going to grab off. I've got the bucket down underneath. It's going to make a mess, it always does, but it's unavoidable. It doesn't help that I put the stand in a really stupid spot. So once that oil filter is completely drained, I'll cut it open and have a look inside. I do that every single week or every time we change the oil. I'll pull the filter off and cut it open and have a look inside. To be honest, I'm not 100% sure what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for a change. So if the filter's clean, then that's good, because that's how it always is. If I start seeing little bits of metal shavings and crap in there, then I know that there's something going on. But anyway, let all that oil drain out, give it another 5 or 10 minutes, then we'll top it back up. Should be ready to go. Oil's finished draining now, so I'll basically chuck the sump plug back in, put the new filter in, top them up with some oil and it should be good. Well, you can see that thing's full to the brim now. The only last thing you do, oil up that O-ring. It should be good to go in. This is bloody difficult with one hand. Let's try and get this in there. Ugh. I've just found a couple of other little issues with this. Engine mount bolts, a couple of them are a little bit loose. So I'm gonna take the nut off, chuck some Loctite on and fix that up. Then finally I can get the panels on and this thing's done. So, going to that now. And before I put the panels on, I just want to get in and clean the floor pan up. Where we had the steering box out to fix it, we dumped a heap of power steering fluid on the floor in there. So the floor's a bit slippery, so I'll get in and clean all that out before I chuck all the panels on. Get this out and we'll get the 6 car in, finally get started on it. You know, it's a double header, it's good that we've got different divisions.
Yeah.
So even if we trash the 500s, we just chuck them out of the way, focus on the sprint car. Like.
Right, the sprint car's good to go.
So I've been doing some work on the 6 car here. I forgot to set the camera up, but anyway. So what I found is in here, it's a bit hard to see, but there's one of these injector plugs, the wires was snapped. So that's what I found on there. There wasn't enough on there to reattach the wire. So I've just wired on a new plug. I haven't soldered it up yet. Going to do that in a minute. But I'll solder that up. And that should be good. But just for a test, once I got those wires together, I hooked all the power commander back up and fired it up, and it was running, but it wasn't running well. So I thought I'd play with the fuel pressure a bit. It was at 40 and we bumped it up and I got it up to about 60 and it was running way better. When you actually rev it, it'll rev out now, whereas before it had just stall and splutter and stuff. So I think a combination of those two things might have helped, but I'm just about to hook up the laptop to the power commander there. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm going to hook up the laptop to that and see what it tells me about what's going on with these injectors. G'day everyone, didn't do a recap last night when I finished up because it was about 4 o'clock in the morning and I was pretty wrecked. Had a bit of a sleep in today, but I'm out here now. We got the 6 car running. Don't know if it's going to run right, but it seems okay in the shed. We won't know until it's under load at full speed. The only thing I've got left to do now is make up a linkage for the gear shifter. I've got to run some plugs and stuff around here to do that. Then it's pretty much put the panels on. This car's done, so yeah, I might just fire it up just to make sure it's still working. I couldn't really do much last night.